Blues. I hope everyone's well and welcome to the Manchester is Blue show. I hope everyone's having a great week, as always. We've got a fantastic chat with you tonight. We'll talk with myself, Tom, City Dave and Dan Fielding. We talk about all things City. We talk about the game against Chelsea and how well we thought we played. There's a few negatives in there which we talk about. We talk about the game with Shakhtar and the drab scoreline, which was always going to happen, unfortunately, with this type of game. But we'll talk about that in more detail as well. We've got some fantastic fan questions that came through from people like Helen Harrison, Mohammed Amir, Bill Barton. A chap called Dave Peters asked some really good questions as well. Have a listen to our answers for that. But we talk about all things City, where we're up to, and lots more. So if you like what you listen, please give us a thumbs up on YouTube. Please subscribe. But also what's really important for us is getting a review from you on iTunes. If you can spare a couple of minutes to log into iTunes, and when you download your podcast, scroll to the bottom and you get the opportunity to give us a 5-star review with a few comments. I can't tell you how much it helps get us up the rankings. So listen, thanks very much, thanks for listening, and have a good night.
Right, we need to crack on, don't we? Well, do you know what? It's been a. I went to Chelsea, and do you know what? I really enjoyed it. I can't remember when. Obviously, playing Chelsea, I was really nervous going into this. So I kind of had that hazy mentality of, if we get a win, I'll be well happy. And when we went 1-0 down, I thought, oh come on, we need to get a draw at least with this. We need to keep pushing. But the first half was one of the best first half of football I've watched in a long time. I know I've been very lucky to be a City fan who's watched as many games as I has watched, and we've done really well. But I really enjoyed it. I sat down at half time and I thought, you know what, that's great. Same again, please. Obviously, being 2-1 up really helped, but I don't know what you two thought, but I thought we did really well.
It was our kind of game, I thought, because Chelsea brought a lot of energy and playing us on the counter. It was quite an open game, and I think that's when we play our best football. You know, when teams try and come at us a little bit, I think we play better, and that's what Guardiola says at the end of every match, that he says these teams that come and actually want to have a go rather than putting 10 men behind the ball, it happens for a better game of football, not just for Manchester City. But I'm guessing, Tom, that you enjoyed that game because it was a little bit more open on both sides for Chelsea and for City.
It could have been. The scoreline could have been a lot differently than 2-1. They both had some really good chances. Really impressed with Tammy Abraham. What a good player he's going to be. He holds the ball, he's strong. Christ, he's massive. I didn't actually realise how tall he was until I saw him when he was going up against Rodri and Fernandinho. I was like, bloody hell, he can boss them around. He's just got
6'4", 6'5".
Must be. I've no idea. I should have put the stats on, but he must be. He's mad. I mean, I'm 6'2", and he looked like a tree on that pitch. He was absolutely huge, and he's strong, and he can pass, and he can hold players up. He just reminded me of the player that I want to see at City that we've not got. Just
how long he's out injured now? Like,
he says he's not. That was a precaution. That he kind of went on social media and said he's absolutely fine. Abraham, he's not got a serious injury. He's going to be good.
He went off as if he was going to die, didn't he? Really, he was in agony.
Yeah. But
I'm really impressed. And Chelsea, I told you about my affection for Chelsea this season, and it's not changed at all. I thought Willian did really well. I thought our defence did really well to push it away. I was disappointed with our goal, obviously conceding. That was disappointing with Kante. But all in all, I came away from that game buzzing, absolutely buzzing. But and I'm going to mention this once tonight. I know Dan, you're going to mention it at the end. When Raheem Sterling scored that goal, exactly, I was so happy. I was jumping up and down with dad and brother and nephews. We were absolutely ecstatic, hugging and kissing each other. It's brilliant. What a great win. 3-1, typical City score, typical football score. And to see that, it's just the absolute life sucks out of me. I walked out for the next 5 minutes thinking, we've drawn that. I just felt like that. They've scored a last-minute goal there. I know it sounds bonkers because obviously we won, but that initial vibe and buzz and energy has just been completely ripped out of that game, and it was so disappointing to see from a game I really enjoyed. That's the only negative for me from that. I don't know how you two felt, but it was so annoying.
Yeah, it's taking, I think we've mentioned this a few times now on the podcast, this is taking all the emotion out of it at all. And I think I said 5 or 6 weeks ago on the podcast that Can you imagine if this was 93-20 and it was VAR? Can you imagine what have happened? I mean, it's voted now the best moment in Premier League history. Now, imagine if VAR had been there, and it would have taken all pieces of emotion out of that whatsoever. And that's why I did that post yesterday. That it's killing the game. They need to work this out. It's killing the game, and it's driving real football fans away because there's no emotion there now.
No, my brother's at the stage. My brother's got a season ticket, has done for years and years and years and years. And it's a lot of money to go to City now, especially with a couple of lads. So that factor's kind of not in there with this point. But for me, you can see the frustration on his face, and we've lost that final buzz and push. I mean, we went out on Saturday night, went to Sale on Saturday night, and we were in a top mood. Obviously, we won, but having that crest of a wave of making that goal being 3-1, Chelsea wouldn't have mattered. The Chelsea wouldn't be asked. For them, they know they lost, and none of their players called for the offside until they realised the referee was walking over to the offside linesman, who was told to put his flag up by the referee, which is dodgy enough at the best of times. It was just really frustrating. But yeah, no, the atmosphere in the game changed massively when that goal decision came in, and it's I can understand why. It's so annoying.
Yeah,
I think about it now. I'm just glad we won, and that wasn't to get us to win 2-1, because there would have been a riot.
Yeah, I still think VAR's fantastic.
Yeah, of course you do.
No,
So
completely agree. There's nothing about it that's good anymore. There were good points about bringing it in the first place to correct these decisions, but the consistency was never there. It was still not there, and that goal that was ruled out, they had to look at it in such detail to make sure it was definitely offside. And if you have to go into that detail, then you might as well give it.
Yeah, well, that's my rant over now. What was your thoughts on Mendy and Sterling and that game?
I think Mendy. I think we're now seeing that literally 2 years out of the game, at the very top of the game, you're done. He is not the same player. Those few games that we saw him when he first joined the club, and when we watched the documentary, with Guardiola just saying, "God, we're not the same team without Mendy. We're not the same team." He's not that player. I mean, I think every City fan to a fan would say that they would prefer Zinchenko in that left back role than Mendy. He's just not. He's just not got it, and I feel bad for him because I'm sure he wants to be the player that he was 2 years ago. But 2 years out and a serious knee injury, he's just not there. And if you look at that, the additional concern is that going to be the same with Zane when he comes back? Because it's exactly the same injury, and Zane absolutely relies on his pace. And if it's true that he's going to Bayern Munich, and then I'm thinking right now, so be it, because I don't think we're going to get the same player back, because we're seeing that with Mendy.
Get the 100 million and run. When I noticed when I was watching Mendy, because obviously I knew he was having a bit of an off patch, I kept watching him, and I don't know if it's the tactics that we played, but he just missed 4 or 5 opportunities to bomb forward and overlap Sterling or underlap him and take the ball off him. And he was always passing the ball. I noticed him passing the ball backwards and sideways. It's like, that's not Mendy. What's it? It's either a confidence thing, or Pep said you need to be more defensive. But he just looked off the boil. And if he's going to play more defensive, don't play him. Play somebody that is going to be more defensive.
Yeah, and can you really imagine Guardiola ever saying to any of his teams, Barcelona, Bayern Munich, or City, be more defensive? I can't see that. I don't think that word is in his vocabulary. He's about possession and attack. I think you're right, Tom. I think it's confidence with him. I think he's that nervous that I've been out for 2 years basically. If I do something again because I want to run at full speed, I'm either going to be out because I'm going to do a hamstring and I'm going to be out for a month, or I'm going to do my knee again. And when you get a player like that who's fearing the worst, they shouldn't be in the team.
No, absolutely. It's especially when I really rate Angelino as well, and Was it? I don't even think he was on the bench. Actually, wasn't he on the bench? I can't remember what the bench looked like now. But I'd like to see him more game time. But I can understand why we didn't, because Chelsea were above us. They're a really good team, really dangerous. I suppose Mendy's fitness, I can understand it. And what I want to see now, what I want to see, and I'm going to get it this weekend, is Mendy versus a mid to lower team in Newcastle. Now, I hope that's no disrespect to Newcastle, but I think most of their fans, and I got a couple of mates that would gladly admit with me. Let's see what he's got. If he's given the authority to bomb forward and show us what he can do, hopefully he'll be a different player on Saturday. I really, really hope so. It's Saturday we're playing, isn't it? 12:30 kickoff Saturday.
Yes, Saturday. Yeah, we've got the early one.
Yeah, and I'm really hoping to see that. And one thing I did take away from the game, obviously that was a bit of a negative from our players, was, and a positive for our players was Mahrez. It was so good to see him play the way I think he can play. And that second goal was fantastic, the way he cut in just between the two defenders. It inch perfect. It's a game of inches, isn't it? And a little swipe into the bottom corner. It was a brilliant goal. Absolutely fantastic finish. And he seemed to be everywhere as well on that right side. What do you two think?
The first half was fantastic. Arguably the player of the half for the first half, and like you say, that goal. I mean, I posted the video on the page. I thought it was a world-class goal. Just the technique and the way he was just confident of just striding in and then hitting it with his left. But for me, the only problem with him was the second half. He didn't really do anything. But then all of them pretty much shut off at the second half. And we only really came to life properly when we scored that. Should have been a third goal. But no, I still rate him. I still think he's settling in to a degree, and we'll still think we'll see the best of him yet. He's still got his prime years coming in now, hasn't he? And but he just needs, for me, to carry that over the half time and still push it, But then again, like I said, a lot of the players, we had a good first half. We sort of just calmed it down, and the possession stats were there to prove that. We were still in the mix of the possession, and Chelsea ended up having more of the ball.
I know,
we just couldn't get onto it.
For the first time in 3 years, is that teams come to us and had more possession at home? That's amazing.
The first time in 3 years, but it's the first time in Guardiola's history as a manager that he's ever got a possession stat as low as that.
Wow.
Barcelona, Bayern and City, it's the first time it's ever been as low as that.
Or I suppose anyone would come back and say, at least we got the 3 points. They could have, that's as long as we could, as long as we can have that. But it was a bit. Is that a downward spiral? Is it just a one-off? What do you think? Is that can we make it? Because obviously people are trying to read into that everywhere, aren't they? And I'm trying not to. But is there anything between you two think of within that?
Well, what were we saying before the game on our last podcast, that this was all about energy? They've got a young team, Chelsea, and they're going to pass the ball around, and they cut us to ribbons, let's be honest, the first half, for those first few minutes. And I think that's what Guardiola's got to watch out for, that these teams that are young, energetic, can spread the ball around, we're going to have a problem against, and maybe we're not going to have that possession, which is why I keep saying Pep needs to really think about the tactics that he's employing, that if you're going against a young team, maybe play some of your younger players or your Bernardos. I know he was banned, but play your Bernardos or your younger players who got maybe that little bit more energy, because I think we're all agreeing now that Merlin, God love him, absolutely City's best ever player, his legs are gone.
Yeah, you see the energy Foden brought when he came on. He was everywhere, wasn't he? He was absolutely everywhere.
Yeah, and I know that was only for 15 minutes or whatever, but, I texted you lot, and I said, the guy runs like a gazelle. If you look at the way he runs, the way he uses his legs to do that sprint, it's absolute. The ground that he covers in a matter of seconds is absolutely incredible. And I felt that the starting lineup was crying out for that on Saturday. I really did.
Yeah, I've got a sneaky suspicion he's going to start on Saturday. I don't know why I think that. I just think to myself, he's got. He didn't start on. I thought he was going to guarantee to start on Tuesday. I'm never talking about putting money on a City starting lineup again in my life, because I had it cast iron as Foden was going to start on Tuesday, but I get a feeling he's going to start on Saturday. And that was probably from nowhere, but I think, like you say, Silva looked a bit leggy, looked a bit off the pace.
Yeah,
he has lost pace. I think we could really do with a bit of pace against Newcastle. Saying that, Silva's really good at holding the ball, spraying the ball, passing, moving. He's got that skill set that it's just Foden's not got at the moment, just through time and experience.
and he has. But for me, that's kind of how he's got Rodri and Gundogan playing right now. As he doesn't seem to dare to want to drop Gundogan. He's in every game, so that for me right now is our David Silva, who's maybe holding the ball up a little bit more and releasing it to the Mahrez's and De Bruyne's. Well, we don't. God, I hate saying this, but I don't really want David Silva in the team because he's not offering that. I would prefer to have David Silva. Sorry, I prefer to have Foden, who not only can hold the ball up and look for that killer pass, but he can also run with it as well and cover the field.
Track back as well, track back when needed to be. I mean, I was watching Mendy in detail, but Kevin De Bruyne seemed to give the ball away an awful lot against Chelsea. I don't know if you two noticed that. I've got a great stat here that De Bruyne's been involved in more home goals than any other player in the Premier League this season. 3 goals and 6 assists. What a player. He's an absolute Rolls Royce of a player. But I did think he gave the ball away more times than I've seen him to do it in recent games.
He's been doing it all season, in my opinion. He's still not at the level that he has been in the past for us. A wonderful player. And yeah, he's still creating those chances. I get that argument. But he's misplacing passes, hitting them over the bar, when he's doing a corner or a free kick. Never really seen him do that before. He's usually so precise. I still think he's only operating at about 85% right now. Yeah.
The good thing about City, and what I'm really enjoying at the moment, is we did last season, the season before that, we seem to have a base level of get the win.
Yeah.
And I still think we're still in third gear. I think if the harder tests come to us, we're ready to take that step up sooner. I'm not nervous at the moment because I know we've got that next level to be able to take when we need to take it. I just want us to smash a team every now and then just to make sure we know we've still got a chance of doing that at the end of the season. Hopefully that'll be on Saturday. What do you say, Dan? 8-0, is it?
No. Come on, we're being silly now. 9. I can see another massive win coming. I think it's been building up. I mean, quite a few people on, especially after Tuesday night, with the mediocre night, as you want to call it. I've never.
Mediocre's a really good. I think mediocre's a really. That was a level 1 and 2 of quality level.
Well, I was there at the game, and it was just. It was almost a completely different team to Chelsea because. Obviously, it's a completely different team, different parts of the world, you know what I mean? But it's against Chelsea, when we won the ball, we did something with it. We never always came off with something, but we did something. We took the ball to Chelsea. Yeah, we may have lost it. Against Shakhtar, we lost the ball, and we never really had that hunger and fight to get it back. But when we did, we never really had the controller play. And I was sat with my stepdad, and we obviously watched them warming up before the game starts, and they were having a few shots at the family stand goal, just a few practice shots, and the amount of shots that they missed from closer than the penalty spot range was phenomenal. I know it's only a warm up, but they looked like they were aiming for it, and you just looked at each other and thinking, this is going to be one of them nights, and it was. You could just tell by the way they were doing it, and they just didn't look at faces.
Lackluster. It's funny, as you've been talking, I just pulled the stats up from the game itself. We had 16 shots, 7 on target. But I think that's the story of this season, just not clinical enough, not cutthroat enough as I think this game epitomises our striking for this season, definitely. Yeah, no, I can't argue with that. It's frustrating, isn't it, when you see a goalkeeper making all the saves in the warm-up. It's like, why aren't they hitting the net? This is no good confidence-wise. Are you bored, Dave?
No, not quite yet. I've got a few minutes yet.
That in terms of the goalkeeping, that's
very sorry.
Exactly hit the nail on the spot. The amount of shots City had, tame as you like. The goalkeeper had the ball more times than I think anybody else on that pitch did, and all the shots about the goal were just easy for him just to get on his hands and knees and wait for the ball to come to him. I think the only reason we scored that goal was because Gundogan just thought, I'm close range here, bang it in, and he did. And that was the only way we were going to score. And unfortunately, it was the only reason we got a point. We just didn't look like we were at the races at all for the 3 points.
Well,
that's worrying. That's worrying for me when we had a pretty strong team out as well. We didn't rest. A De Bruyne, for instance. They were all our big names were playing, and they put in that kind of performance. That has to be a worry to Guardiola. I looked at we seem to play Shakhtar every year in the Champions League.
Yeah.
And I look back at the previous results. It's 4-5-0 away, 6-7-0 at home, and it never looked like we were gonna do that. I mean, Dan, you were at the game, but I was listening to it on BBC GMR, and Nicky Weaver was commentating, and you could tell he was getting really frustrated of what he was seeing as well. So God knows what you were like being there at the stand.
Put it this way: the live band that was in the stadium was the highlight of the whole game.
Oh,
it really was.
The drummer? Did you hear the guy with the megaphone as well? Never seen that before. The guy with the megaphone there. Seriously, guy with the megaphone shouting behind the goals. You not seen that?
Well, if it is, he had it on very low because the stadium was completely dead. I think that was me. I was in the East Stand, literally banging centre in the East Stand on the front row. And the amount of times when you heard "Come on City," I was up on my feet, clapping hands, shouting. The amount of people that looked at me, I mean, yes, the only probably mank Yorkshireman in the front row there shouting, "Come on City," or something like that. They just looked at you as if you're on another planet. Goes, why are you shouting for this team to come on, basically? Every time Blue Moon or Best Team in Land of the World came out, everyone was just like, oh God, they're actually singing that or something like that. It's like complete. Go back 9. I mean, I went to see City versus Notts County a few years ago in the FA Cup, where Vieira scored a couple of goals.
I don't think that, mate, yeah.
Oh God, yeah, that was. That's the only time I've ever seen Vieira play, and at that point I was like, bloody hell, this guy's still world class. After that, no. But every minute of that game, I remember it because it was only my second ever time I've been to the Etihad, and it was just bouncing all the time, even on the seconds tier. Everybody was cheering. As soon as one person said, "Come on, City," the whole stadium was doing it. I mean, fair enough, it was late night on Tuesday, but there's got to be more heartfelt City fans in that stadium that are up on the feet shouting. It just didn't seem like anyone could be bothered. Yeah, and that's why I go completely back to Dave's point. Safe standing. Get it in. It's the only way to lift the atmosphere in that stadium. There's no other way. Live bands are one way to fill half-time, but you need a safe standing in that stadium.
Yeah, I can't really disagree with that, pal. It's I'm just glad I'm glad we won. I'm glad we drew. Glad we're through. Sorry. Who have we got next? Who have we got next in that competition? Zagreb, the 11th of December. It's a 5 to 6 kickoff. It's gonna be an early start for you, that Dave.
God, no.
Dave's based over in America, just for people listening.
You can tell by his American accent.
There you go.
Yeah, the thing is, I really want us to be playing like the Tommy Doyles, the Garcias. I want us to be a young squad, but Pep won't do that, will he? Pep will put us full strength squad out again, and maybe Foden will start. But I just, you know what, we're through now. Because we're getting to that stage, and that's the 11th of December. That's right in the middle of a really busy period for us. I won't come into a busy period. I don't think we can afford to mess around. I think we play the kids and keep everyone fit. If we're through. We can't drop any places. There's absolutely no point in for me going out and risking injuries at that point of the season. I don't know what you think.
I think Pep has actually said in the last 24 hours as well that the focus now is Premier League. He's got that out of the way. We qualify, and I think he's on record of saying, so if that's true, right then, Pep, what we want to see is the Doyles, the Garcias, the Fodens, as many as possible starting that game. Bloody hell, I'd even put Carson in goal, to be perfectly honest. Because I'm worried. Like, Edison has probably been our best player this season, really, and that hit us when he got injured. And he's obviously not quite right yet. He's good enough to start games, but I would hate him, to go to Zagreb and pick up an injury, and then he's done over that really big season. Put Carson in. It'll be all right.
Absolutely, yeah. Why not? Why not? Yeah.
Put Walker in. Yeah.
The kids
I read an interview with Walker yesterday that said that he forgot that he was in goal.
Oh God!
Come out for a header instead of catching it.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
Forgot that he was in goal.
I loved it when he made that save after the free kick when he first came on, and Mendy was like, "Go down with the ball, get down."
Yeah.
He's just completely oblivious.
Oh, let's move on to Saturday. Every game is a massive game. We know this. Do you remember last time what happened when we played Newcastle?
I was looking at that before. Yeah, we scored in the 13th second or something like that, and then we just fell apart and they beat us 2-1. So
yeah,
we usually do pretty well at St James's. I've said this to a couple of fans on the page that I'm going to be really annoyed if Foden doesn't start that game, and if I was Foden and he doesn't start that game, I really would be questioning what Pep is wanting from him.
Yeah.
He didn't start during the week, and maybe people thought, oh, you know what, maybe he is actually saving him for the Newcastle game. If he doesn't play Foden on Saturday, I think Foden has to question, is this right for me right now? Am I actually going to get the game time? Because we are screaming out for him to play, not just because he's a local lad and he's a blue, because he deserves his place in the team the way that Gundogan and Foden, Silva are playing right now.
Yeah, no,
Get him starting a game.
Yeah, completely agree. And after his performance again when he came on against Chelsea, all legs. It's not like he can't pass. It's not like he can't make a tackle, make a shot. He can do all that. Yeah, not to the same level as Silva, obviously. But this is the perfect game where we need to be seeing him now. We need to be seeing more of him. And I love Pep and all the rest of it. But I also love seeing young academy lads putting the blue shirt on. I think that's fantastic. It's really good for the morale as well. I think it'd be really good. And yeah, I completely agree with you. I want to see him. I want to see him play.
They were talking
I don't think he will, though. That's the annoying thing. I don't think he will.
No, I don't think. They were talking on Talk Sport after the game on Tuesday night on about Foden, and the question was, should he go out on loan to get game time? And all the City fans, including myself, screaming at the radio, were saying, no, he's in perfect company. You know, De Bruyne, Silva, Bernardo Silva. Bernardo Silva is probably the archetypal type of player in which he can follow on. He's the same sort of physique, same sort of player, same sort of dribble. He's a perfect player. Stay with him. But one of the callers made a perfect analogy of it. Pep rated him, a couple of months ago, he's 500 million. He wouldn't sell him even for that. Mm. If he's worth that much, if he's got all this promise that he keeps banging on about, why isn't he playing? And Tuesday, exactly what Dave said, he should have been playing Tuesday night.
Yeah,
should have.
Completely agree. I've got a sneaky suspicion he'll play on Saturday, but my common sense Guardiola head is screaming out to me saying he's not going to play, and I really want him to. I want to see him. I want to see more of him.
I think it'll be based on last season's result, though, and Pep's always got in mind. He's always shown too much respect to the teams that have beaten him the season before. I think he'll think of Newcastle as well. They've got a couple of decent extra wingers this season. You know, maybe they're going to be a bit more under pressure than they were last season. But I can't see him starting him.
We're going to be full strength. Here's a stat for you. It's the first time in a decade that City have conceded as many as 14 league goals at this stage of the season. That's got to be on his mind. And that's obviously injuries on Laporte, etc., etc. But, you know, he's going to be playing full-strength squad and he's going to want to win. He's obviously going to want to win. He's obviously going to want to go for it. It's who he plays to get that.
And for me, surely Foden's part of that full-strength squad. Surely he's seen enough of him in training now that he recognises that he can do a job. Mm-hmm. I go back to again is Gundogan. I know he scored during the week. I get that, but is Gundogan and David Silva really doing a better job of what Foden could do in that same role? And I don't see that. What's Pep seeing in training that we aren't?
I agree. We need to do something different for me, because we've conceded the last 3 games. We conceded first. The last 3 games is the first time. I can't remember the last time that's happened. First, we're doing something with something's not right. Obviously, the defence isn't right. Let's stick a bit more energy in midfield. Let's stick a young lad in. Let's just absolutely go at him and have that unbridled energy that he's going to have to absolutely go forward and smash where he can and do what he can and pass and run and just run at defenders, run at players. Let's do something a bit different. Let's put Foden on. Why not? What have we got to lose by seeing that?
Yeah, I mean, Pep's never going to lose his job. Like he's the highest paid coach in the world. He's not going anywhere. So take that chance. Give Foden that choice, and that's what the fans want to see. Start him in the game. And if it's not working out, then you put David Silva on, and Pep then says to Foden, "Look, I took you off because I brought Silva on, and he's going to show you what I really wanted you to do in that role."
Yeah,
because right now it's completely the other way around. It's David Silva not playing to the best of his ability, and then Pep saying, "All right, Foden, you need to go on for the last 15 minutes and change this up."
Yeah.
Needs to be completely the other way around for me.
Yeah, I completely agree. And one person we're missing out of the position as well as Fernandinho. I realise we brought Rodri in to do this, but I saw a stat the other day that we're conceding a shot every 24 minutes, which is the first time again in 5, 6, 7 years. It's the highest ratio of shots against in 24, 25 minutes, and that's stemming from midfield. That's stemming from not having enough energy in midfield, and that's stemming from not having the experience in midfield that Fernandinho brings. When is Laporte going to be back fit? My God, he is missed at the moment, sooner rather than later for me. But we're conceding more shots and more goals. There's something missing in midfield there for me. And it's bring the energy.
I think Carragher and Neville both put Fernandinho in their team of the decade, correct?
I'm not sure.
Did they?
I
think they both.
I remember what it is.
I'm pretty sure there was 5 City players in Carragher and Neville's team of the decade, and oh no, you know what? It was Torre, but I'm sure one of them put in Fernandinho. And then, even these top professionals are recognising that Fernandinho's doing a job in defence for us, but we're missing him in that midfield. Rodri will get there. He's a Rolls Royce of a player, but he doesn't have the vision, doesn't have the experience that Fernandinho does right now.
Do you want me to read out the team of the decade from both of them? You ready?
Yeah.
I'm not too sure which is which. So I've got Jamie's team. In fact, they're all very similar. Jamie and Gary have both got David De Gea in net. They've both got Zabaleta. Got on with Zabaleta. Company. Van Dijk. Aspilicueta.
No Terry.
No Terry. Jamie's gone for N'Golo Kante, David Silva, and Yaya Toure. And Gary's gone for Hazard, Yaya Toure, and David Silva. And up front, Jamie's gone for Gareth Bale, Sergio Aguero, and Eden Hazard. Bale? Was it League enough to be able to warrant that? And then Gary's team's gone for Harry Kane, Aguero, and Luis Silva, Suarez. Where's Bale come from there? Was he in the Premier League long enough to...
Well, he left 6 years ago. I listened to this conversation on Talk Sport a couple of days ago, and they were talking about Bale, and they basically said he had 2 really good seasons at Tottenham, and then he got his big move to Real Madrid, and that was 6 years ago. So how he's got in a team of the decade is totally beyond me.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
And that's what, by the way, Dan, that's why John Terry's not in. But someone argued the point that even when he came towards the end of his career, John Terry, he was still the best defender in the Premier League, and I'm kind of inclined to agree with that.
I really want to see who the other options are, because there must be higher options than Bale, and I don't get that.
Nope.
No, anyway, if Foden's not in there yet, maybe he'll be in a couple of seasons' time.
Yeah. So Tom, going back to your point, you said when you were talking about Abraham before, you said that is the player that you would love at City. We've talked about this before, but does a player like Abraham, maybe in the kind of that role of Kane as well, I think, to a degree, is Pep ever going to go down that avenue of the big, tall, lanky striker who puts himself about?
No,
and that I think we're crying out for a Dzeko back. I really do. But I don't know if Pep's ever going to go for the 6'3" striker who gets a lot of goals with his head.
Do you mind if I just interrupt here? Sorry, this is one of the fan questions, and this works quite well in for this. So if you don't mind, I'll just read it out from Matt. Mark Satterthwaite. Which player is the one who literally I don't know. Let's read this. Hold on a second. Which player is the one who should never have left and why? For me, it's Zeko. I think he would fit right into the current team. Very underrated, in my opinion. Yeah, listen, Zeko. I loved the Pep type of player though, who would have done fantastic for us. Is small, fast, nimble Tevez would have absolutely ripped up trees in Guardiola's team. But
absolutely love Tevez.
Fantastic type of player. Tevez for me was amazing, and not only just because of the way he signed and how he signed and what happened with United and welcome to Manchester and R.I.P. Fergie, which is a bit naughty, but you know it's all the it's his type of mentality. He was a bit mental, wasn't he? But he, for me, I really regret not having more seasons with him. He's still packing goals in now in South America, isn't he? He's still doing well. I tell you who is. God, he's one. Sorry, one player who I really wish we never got rid of. I don't know if you two remember a lad called Daniel Van Buyten, the defender.
Oh, Van Buyten. Oh, my God. A brilliant play. Kevin Keegan signed him, right? We got him for a season,
One season we had him for. And I remember saying to my dad, I said, do you know what, this player, he was an absolute Rolls Royce defender amongst our really mediocre players. And I remember him did he go to Munich afterwards?
Yeah, he did.
3.8 million. We couldn't afford 3.8 million quid for Van Buyten, and it was one of those situations you just hit your head back and you think, why could we have not have found that money from somewhere for this player? He is going to make such a difference. He's the only player I can think of I really wish we never let go. He would have made me a very happy boy if he would have stayed. Do you remember it?
I would.
Brilliant.
I still remember being shocked when I read the news that we signed him for a season, because he really was lauded as one of the best central defenders in the world, and he proved it. Who would I get? Definitely Tevez. I mean, take your pick of the central defenders that Mancini signed for us. You know, Boateng, Savic, who've gone on to absolute, be world class. I mean, what would we do at the moment for one of those two back? So probably for me, Dzeko, Tevez, and one of our central defenders under Mancini.
Yeah. How about you, Dan? What are you thinking?
De Jong. Nigel De Jong. He for me, I don't know why we got. I mean, fair enough, he was reckless in some things, but he gave it his all. He was a proper footballer, wasn't he? The World Cup final aside, obviously. But just that Fernandinho type player, but a bit more aggressive. I think that's what we miss in today's game. But Dzeko, definitely. I think if we had Dzeko in today's team, we'd score a lot more goals, because we're getting these balls into the penalty box on corners. Nothing's happening. We've got no height.
Yeah, you know what? Really good point. I'd love to see our statistics on how many crosses we get into the box and nothing happens from it, how many set pieces and corners, and nothing. Even our penalties, nothing's happening with them at the moment.
No. And in that case, Balotelli.
Yeah.
And this is the big point. So if we are seeing that as fans, you go watch games week in, week out. If we are seeing that, Pep Guardiola, who makes 20 million quid a year, incredible coach, why is he not seeing that? Because we've been saying it for a couple of seasons now. God, we're good, but imagine if we had that big striker who could offer something different up front and head those goals in.
Yeah.
Like, is it just he's just that pig-headed that he won't think of things another way, or he knows it won't work? Why won't he try and bring in a big striker who, to Dan's point, can get on the end of all these beautiful De Bruyne balls that are getting in the box?
See how many goals a season Dzeko would score for City with the crosses he's getting at the minute?
40. Easy.
It sums up. Look, I think there's no argument for Pep in not attempting to get Abraham, because although he's a tall, lanky sort who will get up in the air, he's so quick. He fits into Pep's sort of style of play. He can hold the ball, he can dribble with the ball, but he's so quick. And I think that's what Pep likes. He likes flair, agility to get into one half of the pitch to the other quick and make some of it. Abraham can do that. And he's got the height. So in my view, if Aguero is going to leave in a couple of seasons' time, get a striker in now. In Abraham, in this team, in my view, the way Jesus is playing at the moment, he'd get ahead of Jesus any game. any game.
Absolutely right. What's your? I need predictions then, guys. Newcastle, what we thinking?
All right. So
Dave's on his way to duty free. Put the gin down, Dave.
I'm going on. I'm going now.
Don't
So
say
I'm
Bob.
going to say that this is going to be a draw again, and I'm saying that in the hope that because that's what I said for Chelsea.
Okay.
You and I said, Tom, it would be a score draw.
Yeah, but reverse.
So I think they've got a relatively young team, Newcastle, so they'll have that energy again. They'll have the crowd behind them. I'll go 1-1.
Go on, Dan. Your team. Your turn.
We're away, aren't we?
Yeah.
I'd say, judging on how poor Newcastle's front three are, Almiron, St. Maximan and Joe Linton, 4-0 City.
4-0
I
City.
can see us getting a good win, but I don't see Newcastle scoring.
Are you feeling all right?
It was below 5 goals, yes I know, but come on, I've got to sort of... That one game against Watford, I've got to let that go now. I've got to let it go and be more realistic. Against United, though, that'll be an 8-0. Guarantee you.
I'm relatively confident. I just keep thinking back to the Yaya Toure goal that we scored before we won the league. I just keep thinking positivity from St James's Park. I'm taking that positivity into it.
Here's another little tip for you. Sorry, here's my boarding call now. Almiron has not scored for Newcastle yet since he signed 24 million. What is the likelihood that he's actually going to break that duck and score against City? Stick a fiver on. I am telling you.
Do you need to go now, Dave?
I do need to go. So I'm going to be anyone who's watching this. I'll be at 2 City games. Thank God. Anyone bumps into me at the Burnley away game on Tuesday, do come and say hello. And if you want to come on the podcast with us, just let me know and we'll have a chat.
Fantastic.
He does tend to kiss you, but
Yeah.
Have a fantastic flight, pal. I'll speak to you soon.
Yeah, I'll see you Monday.
See you Monday. Yeah, see you later, pal.
See you later. Bye.
And then there was 2.
Aye.
God, thank God he's gone.
I don't like to say, but I'm glad you said it first.
Oh, what a top bloke! Hope you have a safe flight. We're gonna move on to fan questions now because we got so many come through. You've had some great questions there, pal, and we've had a really good couple of responses. We've had some absolutely stupid ones come through as well. We've had one come in from Ruby Nave saying, "Is Man City a homophobic club?" What a stupid bloody question that is. I don't know a club or an organisation that goes above and beyond.
Yeah.
For community, and to say something like that, I don't understand where that's come from, Ruby. So you need to grow up a bit there. Well, that's a bit of a stupid thing to say.
Especially the women's part, the women's side of it is all about that almost.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's the most ridiculous question of. A part of me didn't need to read it out, but I needed to kind of name and shame her because it was so stupid. We've had one come in from Mark Farnell. Why do we buy Mahrez? Hopefully Mahrez answered that question for you on Saturday, Mark. I'm sure you thought about that when you saw the goal go in on Saturday. Yeah, I think why we signed him. I think he won. Was it Player of the Year last year, the year before for Leicester? He's a fantastic talent, Mark. You must see that. He's obviously got his faults like every player has, but he's winning those games. He's getting shots on target. He's aggressive. He's fast. His ability to beat a man's really good. He reminds me a bit of Sean Wright Phillips in a picture where he'll get the ball and run at a player, which is really good. I'd love to see that. Granted, he comes in to the left a bit too often than me, but he did it really well against Chelsea. So, fair play. Hopefully that answered the question for you.
His starting statistics are fantastic as well. You look at how many goals and assists he's got when starting games. It's a good statistic section, that.
He'll be starting on Saturday. That's
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Graham Jarvis has asked, he's not really asked, he's made a statement, we need to sign Chilwell ASAP. Can't disagree with that. I like Chilwell. I think he's a good player. I can't see us signing him, unfortunately. I think we've got a lot of options there now. I don't know, what do you think?
There's only one left back in this world right now that I'd love him to sign, and that's Alejandro Grimaldo from Benfica.
Do I need to Google him?
Google him. He's an absolutely fantastic defender. He's with Benfica, so same as Ruben Dias. He's not, although Ruben Dias is in the Portuguese side. He's not really there yet, but he's a great left back. If you watch videos of him or watch any games, I watch a couple of Benfica games every now and then. He is fantastic. His defending's brilliant, but he's perfect Pep player. The way he gets forward is brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Right,
you have to send me his name later, pal, so I'm going to do a bit of research on him.
Yeah.
We've had David Peters ask a couple of questions. He's asked, will City ever expand the family stand to a third tier?
Also, it's in the works, isn't it?
I don't know about the family stand. I'm not sure.
I'm sure there was.
I don't know. I don't know enough about that, Dave, to be honest with you. But I will do some research and we'll get back to you as soon as we can hear anything like that. The only thing that makes me think they won't extend the family stand is the financial side of it, because they're not making as much money in the financial side, in the family side, as much as they can anywhere else. So part of me thinks, I don't know, Dave, is the honest answer. But if we hear anything, I'll make sure we question it and we'll come back to you as soon as we can. He's also asked an extremely good question. If City will ever sell Guinness. Have you read that one? That's a great question.
Yeah, I was the one who commented. I bloody hope so.
It'll be, hopefully we'll see it soon and you can buy me a pint when it is, pal.
Although someone else made a comment on that, the booze that they're already doing now, they can't pour it to save their lives, and that's also a very good point. So I don't know if they want to ruin Guinness for me.
I went on Saturday, and at half time, it took about 4 minutes to get a drink. So we ordered a couple of 3 pints, a couple of Cokes, and it took about 4 or 5 minutes to get served. Now, there's a queue of about 20 people behind me when I was getting served. They used to have at Main Road, they used to have a fantastic system where I think they do this now, I'm not too sure, I've not seen it, where you pay for your beers beforehand, or they had loads of beers lined up ready to give people. 20, 30 beers, pre-poured. They knew how many they're going to sell. They must have the statistics and the data to say, okay, well, at half-time, we sell X amount of pints. So what we'll do is, if we're selling 50 pints at half-time, we'll make 30. We'll do 30. We're not going to lose money. We're guaranteed to sell this. I couldn't care less if the pint has been sat on the side for 10 minutes, pre-poured. If it gets me away that queue quicker and down my neck quicker, I'd rather do that than anything. I don't understand why they're waiting around. They're losing money, if anything. Anyway. That's a rant. It's just those little things that bugs me at City. It's like you've got this massive infrastructure, loads of people ferreting around, but I still have to wait 4 minutes and get served, and there's people behind me, and we didn't go down straight away. So anyway, rant over, especially with 50 minutes. According to Pep, Jesus is a different style of attacker to Sergio. So then, should we be looking to bring in not too distant future a replacement for Sergio? And where do we start? That's a great question, because I automatically think to myself, Jesus is an automatic replacement for Sergio. But with Pep saying that, Dave Peters, another great question apart from the Guinness one.
Well, I you know how I felt about Jesus at the beginning of the season. I bigged this up to be his season, especially on the first ever podcast we did. I said, watch his space, it'll be brilliant. Completely changed my mind of him now. I think there was a lot of hype when he was in the Brazilian league and scoring goals for fun. I don't think he ever really truly found his feet in the Premier League, and I don't think he ever will. I think he'll just be, if anything, just one of them sort of, I hate to say it because I love the lad, I love the passion, he's so honest, he's so smart as well, the way he talks, the way he speaks about football. And his patience and understanding with not being picked ahead of Aguero, you don't get that anymore, kids his age. But I can only see him being sort of a Europa League, Premier League side, like a Wolves team. I don't see him being a top 6 player anymore.
We'll see. I think
I'm wrong. Yeah,
he needs a full run. He needs Sergio to move on and get a full run of games to get through. I think I've not heard many rumours about replacement for Sergio. Bill. So
Timo Werner.
Yeah, I know there's just not much smoke at the moment. I'm not seeing loads of smoke at the moment to probably put that through. David, sorry. So for me, I don't know is the honest answer. As soon as we hear any rumours, we'll get them straight on the page for you, buddy. No question about that. We've had Bill Barton ask some really good questions. And one is pulled up us on this, and me personally, because he said it in the last pod, he started talking about City versus Chelsea, and I thought you were very negative. Do you agree? Yes, 100%. I was really negative, and I think I made a comment about it. I don't know what it was, but I think City we had a bit of a downward spiral, and there's a lot of press negativity knocking around, and I think that really affects fans, and it certainly affects me. You know, I'm very positive when it comes to City at the best of times. But we were going into Chelsea, who looks really good with the running. They've got some good players, some good attacking threat. And I thought we were extremely weak at the back running into the game. So, yeah, I was negative. I hold my hands up for that. But I promise you, Bill, I'll be more positive for the Newcastle game. I think we'll win. And I don't know what the score will be, but I don't like giving predictions. But I'm going to be positive enough to say we're going to win comfortably. How's that for you, positive? Oh, we're going to get beat now, aren't we? I've said it. Oh, I've said it.
The last time you were that positive and said we were going to win, Wolves happened. So, yeah, thanks for that.
Oh, I've said it. He's also asked, do we think Pep will be an honourable man and see out his contract? Yes, 100% he will. Yeah, I don't have any hesitation in my mind that Pep will see out his contract. If anything, I think he'll get an extension for another year.
Well, we did argue about that on the private message, didn't it? I seem to be, I don't know if any of the Blues who are listening agree with me, with everything that's happening in his family life, because obviously his wife's taken one of his children and herself back to Spain, whilst he's still got two of his own kids with him. I think that separation of the kids and separation from his wife in terms of the whole family, I think that'll play too big a part. And I think so. he'll see out his contract personally, but I don't think he'll extend it.
He can get an EasyJet for 50 quid to Spain.
It's a lot different though, isn't it? I mean, I've only ever spent in 7 years one night away from my wife, and it's as much as we drive each other crazy, I don't think I could do it again. I think as soft as that sounds.
No, I know, and I'll use my personal experience with this, because my wife lives away from me during the week. 4 nights of the week she lives away. And she's only, 30 miles away. It's not a massive distance, but it works. It works really well. It means I can focus on work and other things during the evening, obviously doing as much as I can on the Manchester Blue page. And it just seems to work. And I think that if you're earning 20 million quid, do you know what, mate? Take it on the bloody chin. And I bet he's not. I bet he's happy being on his own. Let's face it. He's not a bad-looking lad, is he? I bet he's got a good social life in Manchester with his mates here as well, Tixie and etc. So I don't read too much into that, if I'm brutally honest.
No. Well, if I earn 20 million a year, I'd only do 1 year and retire. That was me for the rest of my life, really.
Bill's also asked about Mansour leaving a lasting legacy for City. Do I agree with that? 100%. I think he has already, Bill. I think for me, we saw recently that an American investment firm has invested nearly £400 million, and City are now second richest sports organisation in the world, 3.7 billion or something like that.
3.73 billion, yeah.
I think with the legacy that he's already built, if Mansour said, that's it, guys, I've had enough, I'm going to start investing in water polo. Do you know what? For what he's set up with City, I'll have nothing but thanks to him. And I think the legacy he's set up is one for that'll be welcomed through my generation and my kids' generation, and it's going to hopefully set up for their generation of kids as well. And I think it's done really well. What do you think? I think it's got to be, the legacy's got to be there already, hasn't it?
It has. I think as soon as the 5 years ago when we first made our first profit revenue, from there that was when it changed, because when he took over we were in dire straits as a club. I mean, our owner had sod off with all these evasions and stuff like that, and I think we were all sort of like, it's not really going to happen, this billionaire taking us over, considering the way we're in now. And what he's done with the club, and a chairman as well. I mean, I shared the video of the chairman talking about the investment and stuff like that. It's not so much as like they've just come in and invested in City and the infrastructure. They've invested in the people. They've invested in the city. They've taken in the heart almost. They almost seem like Mancunians themselves, they're proper into it. And I think no matter what happens from here on out, they could sell us tomorrow, and yet they've already left a legacy. I mean, we're now a safe, sustainable club in terms of a City group with all the other clubs they've got. We're gonna be absolutely fine if they decide to leave. I hope they don't, because obviously we'd love all the money they keep pumping in. But at the same time, yeah, the legacy they've left that years ago for me, and they're still doing it.
Just invested in an Egyptian club as well, haven't we? Is it Egyptian? Did you see the news today? I'm sure I read somewhere that the City Football Group has just bought stakes into an Egyptian football club as well. So Mumbai, that was it. Mumbai. Thank you. Yes, Indian, not Egyptian. Massive difference. I thought we just offended two cultures there, haven't I? Completely. The Egyptian one's coming soon. You heard that from me first.
Cairo until the Antarctica one comes, and we've got one in every continent.
Cairo City incoming. You heard it here first. we've added Mohammed Amir. Wants us to discuss about is everybody that becomes a fan after 2008 a plastic? Mate, my son was born in 2013. I was a blue. My dad was a blue. His dad was a blue. He's not a plastic. For me, it's a stupid phrase, and it's used by other clubs to try and tarnish that, along with oil club, oil money, and all the types of rubbish things that come out of it. No, you support whatever club you want to be. For me, if you want to support City and you live in Outer Mongolia, support who you want, pal. It doesn't mean you're a plastic club. It just means you love good, free-flowing football, and we are bloody good at it. So, if you want to support City, fantastic. For me, I would always tell my kids to support their local team, and I'll take my kids to go and watch Northwich Town. But he goes to City with me as often as he can. My daughter comes with me as often as she can. City is our main club, and it's all over the household City memorabilia. So for me, it makes no difference to me. If your family's Blues, my kids are going to be Blues. Their kids are going to be Blues. Just happens to be what it is. If you didn't really like football and you got into football after the money came in, I can understand why. Can you? You can, can't you? It's just one of those things. You want to support a good team.
Yeah, exactly. The affection is there. You've got a world-class team playing fantastic football, scoring goals for fun, winning titles. Of course, you're going to be drawn to them. I still get called plastic because I'm from York, and I have no affiliation to Manchester at all in my family. But it's because I started supporting City in the 2003-04 season, but nobody ever lets you get to say that. They all think, "Oh, you only started supporting an Ed plastic, aren't you? I bet you don't even remember the team." I remember the teams when we had Barton, Gota. I remember him before I even really started supporting City. Sean Wright Phillips. I knew him well before any money. Everybody knows him. Just the iconic figures. And it's just sort of that thing. And the only reason I started supporting City was because my stepdad's a massive City fan. He has affiliation to Manchester, and he came into my life when I was 4. And if you can't support a team,
you grew up with it, didn't you?
Exactly.
Yeah.
If you grow up from the age of 4 supporting a team that just so happens that 2 years down the line after starting to support them, they get rich with oil money and start winning everything, it's impossible. My kid's going to be born in March. Exactly the same as you. I'll tell him exactly. You can either support York City or you can come to the games on a regular with me.
York City. I've had some bad memories at York City. 2-1.
Same here, unfortunately. Same here.
It's funny, isn't it? Because I went to my first game when I was 4, and I don't remember the game. My dad doesn't remember the game. My uncle, my granddad doesn't remember the game. So I've kind of said, right, I've been going to City since I was 4 years old. I don't remember the first game, and I always regret that. But it's one of them things, isn't it? I was very, very, very lucky to be able to go to as many games as I've been to. Through my family, and it's I feel very lucky and privileged to have done that, and I just felt right. I even remember I went to Old Trafford. City got beat standard back in the day, and I even remember turning to my dad in the car on the way home saying, "Do I have to support City?" And my dad turned to me and said, "No, you can support whoever you like." Never talked to me again for 2 weeks, but apart from that,
you have your bags back saying he's going to change his mind. He's going to change it.
He turned around to me and said, "You can support whoever you like," and it was just one of them. Supporting City, it was it's just one of those things. It's just me. It's just family, and it's for a lot of people as well. And other people have come on the bandwagon of having success. Fair play, good luck to you. And I hope that's the same for you, Mohammed. Whichever way you came into being a City fan, good luck to you, pal. We've had Helen Harrison ask a question. I love this. Here's a question: have you ever had Christmas dinner with a City player? You can answer this one first because I've got a cracking story for you.
Other than having FIFA on in the background, no, I'd love to just have a meal with them non-stop, let alone Christmas dinner.
Well, Helen, I first saw this question. I thought to myself, no, what a silly question. And I thought, I have had Christmas dinner with a City player. When I can't remember if it was 9 or 10, I was a junior blue. And being part of the junior blues, I remember, I can't remember where it was, in Manchester City Centre. They used to have a big arena where you go, and all the kids used to line up. Remember in school, we used to sit on the hard floors, and you used to sit in rows and rows and rows. And the City players took part in a panto. So I was in this audience, and City players did a panto. And I remember Santa came round, and I got this big pack of like miniature toy cars as a present. We all sat and watched this panto. And afterwards, we all had Christmas dinner together. And those City player used to sit on the same table as some of the kids. So it was all there. So yes, Helen, I have a dinner with a City player, and that was so many good memories that you brought back to me. I'd completely forgotten about that. That's not something everyone can say, is it? I forgot about that completely. It's made me so happy thinking about that, Helen. So thanks very much for that question. I took with me a autograph book. A City autograph book, and I need to find. I'll have that somewhere in my loft, so I'll have to find that and dig it out and see what players were there. Brilliant, yeah, that's really cheered me up, that question, Helen. So thanks very much for that. Not many people can say that, can they?
No. Like I say, I'd just like to have a chat with him, let alone a meal. But nah, Christmas dinner, you can't beat it.
Amazing. Yeah, it's probably like the end of November or something, one of those random things. But hey, if there's turkey involved, it's a Christmas dinner. I'm taking it.
Yeah, no argument there. No argument whatsoever.
Brilliant. Well, I think we're done, Paul, unless you've got anything else to say.
No. I think we've got all the ranting out from the games and what have you. And
I'm still smiling about Christmas dinner.
I still need to have my dinner, to be fair. I think I might tempt myself to a roast now. I don't care what time it is. Who knows? City player might come around wanting some tea.
Oh, brilliant. Stay on the line, mate. I want to have a chat to you. But we'll say goodbye to everybody. Thank you very much. This has been the Manchester is Blue show, and we'll speak to everybody else soon. Thank you very much.
In a bit, lad.
And that's us for another week of the Manchester is Blue show. I hope you've really enjoyed it. Please don't forget to give us a like and a subscribe on YouTube. And also, what's really important for us is a big, fat 5-star review on iTunes or your podcast provider with a couple of comments on there. I can't say how much it helps get us up the rankings. Thanks very much, and see you next week.